Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 848, The Road Ahead, recorded live on January 26th, 2023. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Duststorm.
I'm your other co-host, Godzilla T.
And we are back, hostless again. We're still trying to figure out schedules. Well, we haven't actually made the effort to yet, but we need to. But we're back. Not a lot has changed in the Halo world over the last week or so since we talked last. For those that caught the end of the last episode, I snuck in the quick little blurb that Pierre put out on Friday. Saying that everything is still staying in-house. We'll talk a little bit about what that might mean for the future of Halo Infinite going forward, and take a look at the roadmap again, kind of refresh our minds of what's supposed to be coming in the next couple of months, and a couple other new community things that came out from 343 this week. New HCS Grassroots program, although it's not really new, it's just kind of a revamp more or less. We got our first Cannon Fodder of the year. We got our first community update, and a little bit of a look into HCS coming into Season 2, but let's take a quick look back at our Fraggin' Friday recap and our little community corner. How were things last week, GT?
Terrible. I actually had to have Dust host the game lobby for a while because the freaking PC would not load multiplayer to save my life.
Yeah, GT was having some technical difficulties last week.
It was bad enough I had to switch to Xbox.
It was. Yeah. But for all the problems that you had, there was a pretty big accomplishment by one of our attendees last week.
Yes. Confal has went on the great journey.
He has completed the great journey. I didn't think it would turn around that quickly from when the challenge was first put out there. I guess it was kind of like a month ago, if I had to guess. But yeah, during our game night on Friday, Confal completed the great journey, which is stealing an enemy core, one of the power seeds, taking it all the way back to your base without dropping it, and capturing it. And he managed to pull that off.
Yeah. No thanks to Speg.
No thanks to, yeah. Who picked him up in the Warthog, then almost got the Warthog stuck, and then almost ran Confal over when Confal tried to plant the seed. I just realized how that sounded.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't a accidental try.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
I
would agree.
Pretty sure that was a intentional motion.
Like, I'm going to screw you over. I said in the Discord, for those that want to go check out the clip, it's unlisted on his YouTube, but you can go to our Discord, check out the Tales from the Foxhole channel, and you can see Confal's glorious, great journey. But I said if it was Halo CE Warthog physics, he would have died.
Well, yeah. Halo CE, a vehicle passes you, you fall over dead.
You just get the wind, the turbulence.
Just
and you're
dead.
So, yeah, but Confal completed the great journey last week. So there's our highlight of Fraggin' Friday.
Yeah. No, all in all, we had a really good night. Had a lot of fun.
Yep. We didn't do customs, though. We just did matchmaking, which was still a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of big team. We did pretty well overall, game-wise. We had 7-8 people at one point.
Yeah.
So, all in all, a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, we did really well. You know, we probably broke even when it came to win-losses, but we had fun both ways. So,
yeah,
that's all that was important.
Very
Sorry,
good.
Wendy's is arguing with me.
Why is Wendy's arguing with you? Wendy's is like one of the best fast food chains.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, my stomach's not a fan of Wendy's anymore.
Those fries and the shakes, or the Frosties, man.
Yeah, I don't get Frosties.
They're just thick milkshakes.
Every time I get one, I have problems. I don't want to get really far away from the bathroom.
For those that are listening on the download, stomach area. Anyways, so if you want to be a part of the shenanigans, feel free to head on over to our Discord or join us on Twitch every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. GT will hopefully have all of his stuff figured out with his PC, or might be on Xbox again.
That was on Xbox. It was nothing wrong with my PC because the next night it was working perfectly. I played Saturday and it worked perfectly. I had to launch the game 4 times.
Well, what was it, like 2 days ago? Maybe it was yesterday. I think it was 2 days ago, though. Microsoft's and Xbox and everything like had a huge outage, so we'll have to see how stable Xbox Live is tomorrow.
Oh.
Knock on wood.
But yeah, I had to launch Infinite. Like, I launched it 4 times. The first 3 times it said I was offline. I mean, I'm connected to the internet.
Clearly something's up.
You know, I'm like, what's going on, man?
Right?
I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I don't know if it's the switches I've got up here that are giving me troubles or what.
Probably just a fluke of the night. Don't know.
I think this weekend I'm going to...
Sometimes technology just be like that.
Reroute my PC's network connection directly to the router and just bypass the switches.
See if that works. See if
that makes it more stable. I don't know.
Okay.
You know, it's networking, just weird things. I don't understand it.
Sometimes
I know enough to make myself dangerous.
Sometimes technology is just weird like that. Pins can attest to it. I know you're experienced with it, but sometimes technology is just weird like that for some weird reason. Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
Some weird reason you can't talk, and then you can. Anyway. It's like this. Tonight, I fired up my computer and I had no sound. Thanks, Microsoft. Restarted it, everything's fixed.
Ding.
And then Skype decided to change my default or my microphone.
Probably because your speakers and everything wasn't working, so everything changed whenever you rebooted again. I feel like it's just you that has that problem, because I don't really have that problem that much.
Actually, since I've quit using Voicemeeter, my audio problems have gone down dramatically.
That's good.
Actually, tonight was the first issue I've had with an audio problem since I quit using Voicemeeter.
Okay.
At least a problem I didn't cause.
Right. Gotcha. All right. Well, that was the one thing that got posted from this last week. A pretty impressive accomplishment, Confal. So, bravo, good sir. Yeah, so let's head on over to the news. This episode's probably going to be a little bit shorter because Puppy's been sick this week, so I haven't had a chance to really plan ahead for this podcast. Poor Pup had diarrhea, and then
fun.
There was a hour and a half of cleanup of other things yesterday, which I'll just leave it at that. So we got our first cannon fodder of the year, or the one for January. This one includes quite a few things. It has a little bit of a tease into Season 3 of Halo Infinite, which is going to be dropping on March 7th. Get to take a look at the armor core that's coming. It's a little bit of a homage to, I think, Ghosts of Onyx and the Spartan 3 armor, the SPI armor.
Spy armor.
SPI. Spy. Spy! And its origins all the way back to Halo Ghosts of Onyx. So there's a whole narrative side of things that Haruspis puts to it. There's also, the next part in here talks a little bit about the Infinity and how the events between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite kind of dives into some details of how easy it was that the Infinity fell. He touches on a few books that are important to it, Bad Blood, the Rubicon Protocol, and to kind of filling in some of those gaps. A few other things in here. And of course, the community lore dump. Some videos that the community has made, which answers some interesting questions. So one of them has an interesting title. Why Halo Rubicon Protocol is a Christmas story.
I'll have to watch that one.
Yeah, it's the last one on the list.
Yeah, I can't quite see how they get that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it kind of all depends on what they mean. Do they mean a Christmas story like it's a Christmas story, or it's like the Christmas story?
You can watch it and let people know next week, because I still need to read it.
You haven't read the book, so.
Right. And then a couple other ones are about Slip Space. Two of them actually feature Installation 00. One is from Installation 00, and then one's from another YouTuber that partnered with Installation 00. History of the Flood, one of the UNSC's best destroyer ships, and then can humans actually survive orbital drops if they were in real life? So yeah, that's the canon fodder for the month of January. We've got our community update, which covers a few things that we've already talked about from last week's podcast. The latest Forge features, which was released last week. The Joint Fire event, which is going on right now with Joint Ops. It's going in its second week right now. And this week's Ultimate Challenge Unlock is a pretty cool skin sniper rifle. It's got some of the Boomco green on it, and some red and orange accents, which looks pretty cool. There's the Eagle Strike armor core that has the Brody armor set in the store for those that buy stuff in the store. There is merch for the month of February, or Valentine's Day. There's a shirt, there's a hoodie, there's a mug, and there's a cutting board. So take it for what you will.
Okay.
Yeah. The community response to the cutting board was interesting. I'll leave it at that.
Is somebody going Lorena on us?
It's going what?
Only old people will get that one.
Okay. Pins will probably get it, and I think that's
Lorena
the
Bobbitt. Look it up.
I don't have that on my bingo card, the Dust Missed a Movie reference.
That's not a movie reference. That's actually a real life reference.
Oh, well, okay. So, no, you don't get to fill that in your bingo card if you have it, I guess, then. Sorry. Pins is like not a movie reference, and he did get it. As far as upcoming partnerships, there is some stuff getting announced for Mega Constructs and Halo next week on the 30th of January.
Cool.
The Honda Fan Cup is still ongoing. There's another round coming up on January 28th, February 4th, February 11th, and February 18th for the qualifiers, and then the finals on March 4th for a $20,000 prize pool. There's the Xbox and Oreo partnership that's been going on over in the EU, and thanks to Laird for hooking me up with the code to get it.
Nice.
It looks, I mean, it's pretty much white and blue, and then the white is spotted kind of with what would probably be like Oreo crumbs, more or less. That's the vibe that it gets. But even though it's kind of like a spotty, like paint splash look, that kind of looks pretty nice. Confound, talk to Laird. That's all I can say. Just talk to Laird. And then the artist corner, we've got a little piece from Halo Mythos, drawn up by Darren Bacon. Some Forerunner architecture, and a battle going on over it. That's all over in the latest community update over on Halo Waypoint. And then the last thing we've got is the HCS Grassroots revamp, more or less. We've got a few upcoming events. They're actually taking some of the content creator Grassroots partners and doing monthly events with them. The first one actually took place this past weekend. It was the BTB play date, and they're actually having the Twitch drops for these as well. The next one's going to be February 10th, and then the one after that will be March 11th, which will be a women's play date, February 10th being a winter play date. There's new HCS Grassroots partners, Aliek, Tony, or why not? Apparently, for those who follow Why Not Be Casting, it's actually Tony backwards, that's what he's supposed to. He's one of the casters for HCS. Extreme Breaker and LVT Halo. So those are the latest partnered creators in the HCS grassroots program. And there's plenty of other grassroots partners that are out there continuing on strong, like Elamite, Echidna, Eli X, Real Life Spartan, Ubernick, Mint Blitz, Oath, the list goes on and on. And then the cherry on top is the kind of leading into our discussion a little bit for this week, and that is the post that Pierre Hintze, I probably should actually look up how you pronounce his last name, posted on Friday last week after the whole firing of 60 plus 343 full-time employees and then even more contractors, and what the implications of that is. So more or less, Halo staying in-house. For anyone who's worked in a office job, whenever you have a major shift in personnel, like what's happened, there's quite a few things that happen, and there's different ways that you can account for the sudden loss in personnel. Some of it is, I think 343 is probably never going to say much publicly on what they're doing. I don't think any corporation really would once they start making cuts, but you're definitely prioritizing what needs to be done. You're focusing on, instead of having fluff and other things, you're focusing on core sets. So probably whatever new stuff was in the pipeline outside of promoting, I would say, Halo Infinite multiplayer and content there has probably been drastically reduced or completely cut. So any kind of campaign DLC or expansion, or if there's a Halo Infinite 2 or whatever the next Halo game is, probably has been put on the shelf for the time being. Anything going on with MCC has probably been cut way back. So as far as we know, Season 3 content is pretty much locked in place and will be out March 7th. Shouldn't be any issue with that content coming. Does bring into question, though, and this has been kind of the talking point of the community, with all the recent shakeups, do they have the right personnel to keep the momentum going in that seasonal cadence? And
I'm not worried about Season 3 because, like I said, it's pretty much in the bag. My curiosity is Season 4, Season 5, Season 6, Season 7, and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be able to keep that pace?
Yeah.
Or are we going to have to go back to 6-month seasons?
We've already started to see some evidence of people getting shifted. So, prime example, Tashi is now helping out with the multiplayer matchmaking playlists experience as a whole, not just focusing on HCS. So there's been a reshift in his position and his duties, and safe to say that that's probably happened with a lot of different folks at the studio. I would love to see, and I don't think this would ever happen, but this is what I would like to see, because right now the community is really unsure of what's going to happen. There's been a lot of doubt and uncertainty from the community with 343. Obviously, there's folks that are kind of like naysayers, 343 ruin Halo, blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm talking about. There's folks that still support the studio, still like Halo, and aren't just bashing people that are just legitimately concerned of, like, you can't just lose 60 people or at least a fifth of your staff and not expect an impact.
Not to mention all the subcontractors.
Yeah. Now,
which we have no idea how many they were actually using. Yeah, we don't know if they were using one or if they were using 20.
Well, this isn't confirmed other than the 60 plus full-time that we know got let go, but rumors are there's probably 120 contractors or so that got let go as well. So when you cut that many people, there's
Just
going
as a
to be
side
an
note,
impact.
because we're kind of on the subject about 343 versus Bungie. I just want everybody
I wasn't
to know.
going there, but okay.
Well, no, you were talking about the people that were naysayers against 343.
Okay.
And those are the same people who are saying that Bungie would do better. Bungie had to shut down their game for 24 hours because they broke it. Just, heads up.
I honestly don't think it's a Bungie versus 343 thing. It's just...
Yeah, it is. Every person that hates on 343 says Bungie does no wrong. At least that's what they think.
I mean,
I'm not here to make it a 343 versus Bungie thing. 343 has done an awesome job with the Halo franchise. Have they had bumps? They've had flat out fall on the face, skid across the parking lot bumps. But I'm happy with what they've done. I'm happy with Infinite. That's my opinion. I don't care. If you're not happy with it, I'm sorry. But yeah, I hope that they are able to restructure to where they be able to keep their content deadlines intact. I know what it's like to lose a lot of people in my current job. From the time I started last year to this point right now, there are a total of 3 other people that were there when I came back there, when I moved to that department. Everybody else is gone and hasn't been replaced. So, yeah, much smaller scale, but I get it.
Right.
Everybody's left gets to do more work. It's just the way it works. Even if the people that are let go were working on things that were still in development, some of that development still needs to happen. So somebody's got to take that job. Somebody's got to do that work. Because I'm sure the people that, if they were working on a campaign DLC, they weren't only working on a campaign DLC, especially with
probably not
all the tweaks that Infinite has received since launch.
Right. The issue I see is that there's just a lot of unknowns, and I mean, people know that there's going to be an impact, but
yeah,
343 shouldn't just blow it over as, hey, everything's going to be hunky dory, like we're moving forward without problems. Like, no, you took a big blow. Granted, it's not entirely your fault because Microsoft higher up is cutting jobs, so it trickles down to every department everywhere. So, like, obviously, it's not their fault, but I do think there's some validity to the whole claim that management probably has an impact on some of the issues with development of the game and some other decisions that were made. But there's nothing management could have done to stop this coming down as far as firing people.
Well, as far as people in 343.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. But it just leaves a whole bunch of uncertainty of like, okay, well, obviously if there's a future game development or future campaign DLC, maybe that's not on the table to talk about publicly, but at least tell folks, this is my opinion, and a lot of people probably don't think this is enough. People want 343 to be completely transparent, which we know how well that goes. But I think just kind of acknowledging that, hey, this has impacted us. Here are the areas that it's impacted, and it means that this kind of content's not going to be coming for a while. Don't have to worry about any promises or any saying this is how we're going to fix things. Like, no, just be like, this is how we're impacted, and just say, okay, all these things that we had planned in the roadmap, just they're either being canned or they're being shelved indefinitely. Like, just
we know how well the Halo community would react to a statement like that. I mean, I get what you're saying, Dust,
but in the light of people being fired,
I do agree with you. But the community at large has proven that they will not react well to a statement like that.
But I'm almost thinking it would be a good barometer as far as, yeah, people are obviously going to be upset that there's no campaign DLC or whatever, but it'd be a good place to have people say, yeah, this sucks, but hey, at least they're focusing on getting content out to for seasonal release or something like that. It helps. Well, maybe it doesn't help. I would hope that it helps with a little bit of some of that trust that the community's lost with 343, and just kind of opening up the door a little bit to say, hey, we know we're impacted. These are the ways that we're impacted. We can't help it.
Yeah.
Just to say that, yeah, like not everything's sunshine and rainbows, but admit that, yeah, we took a hit and this is how we're being impacted. Like, yeah, you're going to have people
honestly,
being vocal and not happy.
I really don't care what kind of statement they made. It doesn't matter what they said. Somebody's going to have a problem with it. And a lot of somebody's are going to have a problem with it. It's just a matter of how much crap do they want to deal with while they're trying to get their ducks in a row and fix this stuff.
Sure.
And, get the machine moving again after losing a freaking arm.
They're probably not allowed to make that statement, Pens, because they probably want everything to be sunshine and rainbows. But
Lord knows Microsoft would not want anybody to say there's problems, because that would affect stock price.
Yeah. I mean, the whole, I forget if maybe this wasn't a thing. I thought it was a thing, but how or maybe it's another studio. 343 needs, I think, a little bit more anonymity within Microsoft.
They'll never get it.
I know they won't, because it's Microsoft, but I feel like in order to be successful, there's got to be some...
The only way that we will be able to get any kind of communication from 343 that we would actually be looking for is if 343 became an independent studio and became the sole proprietor of the Halo universe, which Microsoft's not going to ever let that happen.
Unless it underperforms at some point, and then they
they'll just shut it down.
Yeah, they probably want to keep a hold of IP. Yeah.
I have no visions of grandeur when it comes to Microsoft, Google, Apple, which I don't use any Apple devices. If it doesn't perform, they just get rid of it.
Yeah. I guess that's the sad
Even if people like it, they get rid of it.
Yeah. It would just be nice if...
Yeah, it would be nice. It'd be really nice.
For those of us that actually care about what's going on with the future of Halo, because the announcement's not for the folks that are just going to raise a fuss and say, oh, 343 sucks, they can't even make a Halo game and keep a schedule. Like, that's not what it's for. It's for the people that care, and they're like, they've wanted to play Halo, they want to support Halo, but now they're in the spot where it's like, what's going to happen to Halo? Like, is it over? Is it done? Like, that's the question that's going around right now. It's like, what the heck is the future of Halo right now? I mean, sure, there's still people working at it, but like, how is HCS events going to be impacted? Like, it sounds like HCS and multiplayer are their main focus, and every other side project that was ever being worked on, like new campaign experiences, seems like the multiplayer, the microtransactions, and the HCS tournament stuff is probably the main focus of the studio right now. If I had to,
because that's what makes them money. It's the truth. We could start a GoFundMe to buy the rights to Halo.
Yes.
We only need about $6 billion, and
only
we might be able to buy the rights to Halo.
Only 6? Currently trying to buy Activision for $69 billion.
Yeah, but that's a whole game studio. We just want one game.
Yeah, that's controlled by one game studio. It's basically
trying
the
to buy
same
the
thing.
Studio, just the rights to the game.
Almost kind of the same thing at this point.
Anyway.
Oh, Pins. I don't know if I want that. Pins said, if Elon Musk hadn't purchased Twitter, we could have convinced him to buy Halo. I don't know if that would have made things better.
We probably still could. He's got plenty left.
Well, with Tesla stock prices dropping like a rock.
Yeah, but sales are going through the roof.
So,
hell, they were just announced that they're expanding their production plant.
Where? Like, as installing a new plant, or?
Mm-hmm. They're expanding their manufacturing capabilities for the Tesla vehicles.
Okay. Fair enough. So, as far as we know, Season 3 is coming. Includes a new arena map and a new BTB map. There's the new bandit weapon, which is basically a DMR. There is the new 100-tier battle pass, the new equipment, the shout screen, new updates to Forge, new game modes, VIP and Escalation, a new Fracture event, and just quality of life improvements overall. So, as far as we know, Season 3 is still launching on March 7th, which actually isn't too far away.
No, it's not.
Only 6 weeks. That'd be fun to have 2 new maps. And VIP might be interesting
VIP
for
would
some
be good.
game modes. Custom.
That's good for a lot of custom game modes.
Yep. Depending on what options they have in there, that could be really, really handy. They still need an infection or some kind of insane-ish, like the insane from Halo Reach, that kind of options. And I would still love to see either like an insane game mode or some customs game mode where you can set values in the game mode itself that can influence scripts in games.
Yeah.
Griffball's another one. That's a good call out, Homer. Griffball's one that's been clamored for a long time.
Well, the nice thing is if they build the suggested insane mode correctly, you could take those settings and build any of the other game types.
By and large, probably.
Because if I remember right, the insane game type had settings for all the different objective type setups, all your player traits, all your vehicle traits, of course, the spawn timers and everything. So if I remember right, you could pretty much build any game mode you wanted out of the insane game mode type. The biggest problem with it is that it had so many options, it took forever to set all the options.
Got it.
You could build infection in it, but it'd take you an hour going through the settings to get infection right.
And Pins, to your point, 343 doesn't need a big one right now. It just needs to be ground truth. Hey, here's the plan. Here's how it fits in with the recent loss of personnel that we have at the studio. These things have been impacted. These things haven't. These things have been shuffled around. Just give us a little peek behind the curtain of what's going on. For those that care about Halo and 343's ongoing curation of the Halo franchise. Firefight, that'd be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm. I want Super Fiesta.
They need to bring weapons in to do that.
Well, I mean, even if they had a Fiesta with campaign weapons, you spawn with campaign weapons. Now look who can't talk. Instead of making them pickups on the map. But again, I think Fiesta is a modded game type in Infinite like it was in Halo 5. I really haven't dug through the settings. I don't think they have a random weapon setting when it comes to starting weapons.
I honestly have not dug into the custom game set at all to know.
Mm-hmm.
Make the answer great again. Gruntpocalypse. Yeah. So that's all we had tonight.
Again, the short show, not really a lot going on in the Halo franchise, and people are still kind of reeling from the news last week and wondering what the heck is going on with Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Pins says he has a concern with the Halo TV show coming out this spring. What's your concern, Pins, with the Halo TV show coming out?
Well, seeing that's being funded by someone else, I don't think that's a problem.
Are you talking about the whole Last of Us comparison going on, Pins, with Halo? But I've heard and seen, and there's a lot of folks that have come out and said, yeah, this is what Halo should have done. It's like, well, maybe.
No, I think he's concerned about it actually showing up.
Oh.
Like, did they stop production on it?
I mean, Unisheck was there in Budapest over January. I'm guessing they were finishing up. I mean, based on the last season, they would probably be done with principal photography at this point.
You know,
and they've got contracts to fulfill there, so I would be highly suspect if that had any of that work has been shelved or impacted.
Well, also, I'm sure Paramount is got their dollars in it as well.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the series coming out.
Now, season 3? Who knows?
Have they signed off for season 3?
No.
Okay.
They haven't said anything for season 3.
If there is one. Well, that's going to be it for us tonight, folks. Hopefully next week, with the opening of February, we'll have a little bit more of a solid topic going into it. Possibly even a guest. I need to actually reach out to folks and get our first guest of the year on. Quick shout out to Confal and Pins, who have also now become eligible for a podcast guest hosting appearance. So we've got Prestige, Pins, and Confal subscribing to the guest tier on Patreon. So we'll get them on the show here at some point after we coordinate with them. So that's pretty cool. If you want to help support the show, you can go on over to podtacular.com/Patreon and help support the show that way. And join us for Fraggin' Friday tomorrow. I will, if I am there, I will probably not be there for the beginning part, probably join in a little bit later, but should be fun nonetheless. More Halo Infinite shenanigans. Maybe customs, or maybe just matchmaking. I'll be up to the lobby.
We need to play some Dig Dug.
Dig Dug. Diglet dig, Diglet dig.
Or Diglett.
Yeah.
Dust
Any
loves
final
that one.
There was actually... Did I win one once? Yeah, I won one once. Somehow. I don't know how, but there was one time I won one. And I'm like, how in the world did I win this? It's a fluke. Anyways. Any final comments, GT?
Not this week.
Oh, one other thing that got called out by Laird. Apparently there has been a Pizza Hut and a Domino's made in Forge. And apparently Laird wants us to have a 1v1, I guess, on one of those maps. Not sure where Laird was going with that, but he called us out in Discord on it for some reason.
I don't like either one of them, so Dust wins. I will eat Pizza Hut before I eat Domino's.
There's your answer, Laird. All right, folks. That's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. Thank you for downloading the podcast. We'll see some of you all on Fraggin' Friday for our Fridays. If not, we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. You can find our podcast on your favorite podcasting service and listen to us live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Check out our website, podtacular.com, and join the community on Discord at podtacular.com/Discord. If you want to play Halo with us, come join us for Fraggin' Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Become a supporter of the show by sharing the show with your friends and family. Or help keep the lights on by subscribing to us on Twitch, donating via PayPal, or becoming a patron alongside Confal, Pens Halo, and Prestige Ace. Until next time, keep on fragging trucks.